I am super excited to be here, not because only I'm sitting next to you, but because we're going to be talking fashion. Now, before we get to that remarkable experience you just had showcasing your collection in Manhattan for 2014 New York Fashion Week, well, I want to know much more about you.
Okay, well, I was born in Guyana, moved to the US in my teens, and always loved fashion. My mom was a seamstress. It passed on to me. I started FIT, graduated, got jobs as assistant designers. We supplied to clothing retailers like Walmart, Target. Then I moved out of that assistant position to an associate's position at a company that designed for Liz Claiborne dresses. After which, I thought it was time to start my own company. I was always into dresses. My mom always, cut, and I would sew my pieces. So I thought I should give this a shot. So since schooling was involved in terms of getting jobs, you had to have the schooling, obviously, and that part was done. I thought, I think we're ready for this. So took on my business. I'm on to my 5th collection now, which we will talk about in detail.
And you guys will get to see it as well.
Yes, which was the 5th collection showcased at New York Fashion Week this year. So lots going on fashion-wise. Love putting together clothing, love feeling fabrics and knowing what's coming next.
Well, speaking of which, what does fashion mean to you?
Fashion means a lot to me. It's being able to put together things that you have in your closet, whether it's so costly or inexpensive, and being able to make an ensemble out of it and making it sound, making it look just fabulous. Definitely when you walk into a room, you'll know how well you've done. Some are, sometimes some people are a little lacking in that area, while others do it a lot better. But overall, I think fashion in itself, being in the business that I'm in, I love dressing ladies up. I love to be able to do that, and more so making them feel their best, confident, sophisticated, and at their best.
Well, speaking about confidence, we were chatting about that earlier, and I was asking you how important confidence is when it comes to fashion and putting the two together.
And I think it plays a major role, more so than the piece you're wearing, because just for a quick example, it's walking on the red carpet. You could be in the best outfit by the best designer. If you don't have that confidence, that camera is moving on to the next person with that more oomph in their step. So I think, being very confident, not overzealous or too egotistical, because that comes through as well.
Yes.
But just the right amount of confidence is just perfect for just pulling off anything that you're wearing.
Well, ladies, you heard that. Make sure you walk with confidence. I'm sure you do. Okay, so, we're talking all about fashion. I want to know much more about your line, and how would you describe your style of clothing?
Well, I think, my inspiration is always taken from that old glamour, the old Hollywood glamour era. I love that era for the women who wore clothing back then. They were strong. They compelled attention. They walk into a room, men stood up, give them show them to their seats. Nowadays, you do still have that sort of chivalry. It's not totally out the door. But women and the way they dressed back then, I'm not saying to dress like an old woman because it's from the 1950s that I get my inspiration. Because as we'll look at some of the pieces, nothing is old about them. It's just being able to pull certain details that makes the clothing very strong, so that any woman that wears it feel that coming through. And the mere fact that we like the fact of being able to wear our clothing year-round, It's made of of luxurious fibers. There are silks, cottons, wools, rayons, and blends of those. And when you use natural fibers, you're able to wear them in the cooler months. They keep you warm. In the warmer months, they keep you cool. And those are the advantages of going that route. And I'm always looking for those types of fabrics, not to have the same look, but to be able to have that same feel, And all our pieces are lined in silks. And you know, it's something that's going to be continuous in our collection. Someone can look in our garment inside out, wear it inside out if they wanted to, because it's so well made.
Well, let's talk about that. You make your clothing seasonal, so to speak, and where someone could wear it year-round as well. And I think it's so important. We were talking earlier, you just don't go out and spend a lot of money on one outfit to wear it once. And you were saying there's many different ways you can wear it, or if you feel good in it, why not wear it 2 times or 3 times?
Many times.
Many times. And you were also continue to say, you know, you sort of don't just stick with the current trend, but you create your own as well. And how important is that for you?
Well, that's important in that, again, trends are trends. They come, they go. The pieces I like to make are pieces that you can, yes, wear year-round. Something in the winter might not work for the summer, but if you did a couple things with it, you wore a scarf with it, or you wear them differently, you accessorize differently, you could definitely get multiple wears out of the things that we put on our collection. To be able to buy a garment that's so costly and just wear it once, I think is just outrageous. I'm not one big on that. I do understand the day and age where every click of a picture, you don't want anyone else to see you in that particular outfit, because pictures are always there and it's a constant reminder, oh, you've worn that dress before.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me. But this is just one person saying this, and it might not matter to other people, but I feel if you make an investment in a piece, let it be just that. It's like houses. You live in them, it's an investment. Clothes are meant to be worn, not just once, but all the time. I think over a period of time, your clothing is what people look forward to seeing you the next time. Oh, well, I can't wait to see how she does it the next time, or how he does it the next time. And don't you just love a challenge, going into your wardrobe and be able to pull something that you've already worn and say, how can I make this different?
Oh,
I love that.
Fit into this again.
Or I actually can fit into that from 10 years ago or something like that. So yeah, I am totally in awe of people who just like those one-timers. I'm not for that.
What would you say to people out there, you know, the ones who really don't like wearing a particular piece twice? I myself have quite a few outfits that, you know, I've worn it once, and because of pictures, I fail to wear it again. What would you say to make us say, hey, well, it's okay? Apart from the Duchess does it twice, or 3 times, or 4 times.
Or 5 times.
Or 5
Recently,
times.
she wore this dress that it made news because it was her 5th time wearing it, and she's a Duchess. It doesn't matter if you can afford it or not. I think it's a habit. And it's also, I think, living to other people's standards. I am not one to do that. I live by my own standards, and what feels comfortable to me is what I do. And it's the only thing I can impart to others, the things that make me feel comfortable. And I'm comfortable doing that, wearing things over and over, and mostly for my collection.
So what do you like best about designing clothes?
I love being able to put the right fabrics in the right garment. I toy with that for months. I don't put out as many collections as one ought to, as the industry standards, but I like to take my time knowing that the customer is going to be the one that benefits from it. Whether it's the color, I look for colors that transcends skin color.
Right.
so it works with many skin colors. I like fabrics that flatter, colors that flatter. And so things like that, when I go to a fabric store, I'm a kid in a candy store.
Right.
I look for those things. Once I have them, I know exactly where I'm going to put them and how I'm going to achieve what I'm going for. So those things in itself is a lot to go for a girl to go crazy over when designing.
Well, I'm excited. Speaking about achieving, we're going to step across and look at your collection.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so the energy level just went skyrocketed because I am next to her pieces. I am loving all of them. And if you check out ReadySetRose.com, I kind of picked out my favorite, well, one of my favorite. There's a picture on behind the scenes. Well, Sarah, let's get to it. I mean, how long does it take you to construct a piece?
Well, it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 business days, and this is what I normally, that entails for during that time. We have a meeting with the customer on the first day, which at that point I take measurements. Well, at that point she already knows which dress she's getting as well. So I would have taken swatches and do all the formalities. A couple days into it, maybe 2 or 3 days into it, she gets a fitting, and maybe a second fitting if needed. And by the 7th, 8th day, and this is the business days, it's practically ready. So it's that short of a time.
I think,
7 to 10
I mean,
business days.
so you're telling me if I want to order this, 7
Yes.
to 10 business days?
Yeah, that's all it takes.
I think you're Superwoman. We're gonna call you Fashion Goddess and Superwoman. Well,
I'll take it.
You're taking it all. Well, speaking of, constructing a piece, I know it must have been a lengthy process preparing for Fashion Week. Tell us about that.
It was. I know a lot of people probably thought it was, I woke up that
Same
day
day.
and just went to Fashion Week. We showed in February, which was this a week and a half ago, and but the preparation started since October last year.
Wow.
So it was fittings, making sure the garments fitted the right models, and even though we thought we had the right models, last minute we changed a few of them the day of. So it's a lengthy process, lots to get figured into, because it's not just you on the runway. Like my show was at the 4 o'clock slot. There were 3 shows that day, one at 12, one at 4, and one at 8. But there were about 9 or 10 other designers showing with me. So it has to be a cohesive sort of a progression. And it has to be that very high energy kind of a thing. It's Fashion Week in New York. So it was lots of preparation. I think all the preparation that we did, we walked out of there very happy with what we got. The footage, which that's coming also. And you might be also getting some of those, I don't know. But it was great. It was very high impacted energy. And it's everything that you prepare for. It's the Mercedes-Benz of small businesses. So it's being talked about that way when the creator of the show, of the Small Boutique Fashion Week, talks about it or got interviewed about it. It's
being described that way.
It's just like Mercedes-Benz. So you have the Mercedes-Benz, which are for the premier designers. You have the Nolcha Fashion Week, which is the Latinos. And you have the SBFW, which is Small Boutiques Fashion Week. So it's very recognized.
Well, tell us the feeling you had on the day of, knowing that, hey, I'm going to be on Fashion Week,
It's great. It's intense, but because we had such a long time to plan towards it, of course anything can happen the day of. We had worked out all the kinks. We even had a booth at the event, so that worked out pretty well in our favor. The day of, it was just a piece of cake pretty much, because we had already done our prep work.
I love that, and congratulations again on showcasing your collection for New York Fashion Week. Well, you are a designer yourself, but I'm sure you had some people that you admire, or have some people that you admire. Who are some of your favorite designers? I want to know.
I've quite a few. And some being a Dolce & Gabbana. I've always wanted to work at their fashion house, although it's in Italy. I don't think that one would work out too well. But their style is very synonymous with the kind of things I like, and I like to pass some of the things I like. I don't like to throw what I personally like as an individual onto my customers. I have a vision of what I like to pass on to my customers, drawing that from the old Hollywood glamour era. But these guys, the Dolce & Gabbana, the two fellows that makes up that group, they have a lot of these bourgeois kind of dressing, the corset, which I love because it symbolizes that old Hollywood kind of era, garments. And they do a lot of laces, and as you can tell, I do incorporate laces in my pieces.
Lace is so sexy.
Lace is sexy, and there's such a fine line between lingerie and getting the right lace to fit well, because it could shout lingerie when you intend for it to be evening wear.
Right.
So it's part of the process of finding the right laces to go with the right silks, which is some of the luxurious fibers that we like to use.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, you spoke about your favorite designer, but I really want to show our viewers what you were talking about earlier, the quality of your fabrics, and you said you can turn your fabrics inside out, and you really can wear it on the other side as well, and it's just really couture pieces.
Anything you can take a piece of anything and just turn it inside out. You would see no raw edges on the inside. You can bring the hem up into the garment. Everything is done, and they're capped with, like, the hems are capped and sewn so that it's for durability, and
So
it's
neat.
also for comfort, so you don't feel anything tugging and pulling at you. And it's for wearability, I mean, and overall for durability.
At the end of this interview and during the course of the interview, I'm feeling you as a designer and what you really want. You want, the average person or anyone to feel comfortable in your clothing, feel sexy, and I love that idea. I mean, sometimes I do wear a piece and it's itchy, it's uncomfortable, but I see your vision, and most importantly, wearing it year round. I love that.
Right, and that's a big part, because my pieces are not inexpensive. They do have a bit of a pricey tag on them, but what you get for that price tag is so much more than you would get for a garment of the same price, like my competition in high-end stores. I know who they are. I won't mention them, because I do go to those stores for personal shopping for customers, so I don't mention my competition, but I know who they are. And I would go and look in their garments, and it's such a turn-off to see a garment like $595, and the lining says polyester. Now, polyester isn't a bad fabric, it's just not silk. It's not a natural fiber, it's a man-made fiber. And then to go further, it's made in China. So I'm very proud that the garments that we make are made here in the US.
Yes, yay!
It's all done in New York City, and they're of the highest quality. We do silks on our inside. The linings are always silks, and like you saw the inside, you can turn it inside out and wear it. It's well done, and it's all for comfort. And we just love doing what we do.
Well, I'm loving everything I hear so far, and I can't wait to be in one of your pieces. And guys, be sure to check out her website, 34-24-36